Have you ever been treated like a criminal for wanting to mow your own lawn? What if one woman's obsession with peace turned your weekend into a battlefield of laminated threats and neighborhood gossip? And how does a quiet guy end up using farm animals to expose the absurdity of suburban control freaks? It was a golden Saturday morning in Pleasant Pines Estates, the kind of cookie-cutter American suburb where every house matched like clones in a beige cult and every blade of grass had to stand at attention. Ryan Brooks had just yanked the cord on the thunder, my battered 1995 riding mower that sounded like a V8 with a grudge. She wasn't pretty. Duct tape held the seat together, the muffler was a soup can special, but that engine? Pure freedom roaring against the soul-crushing quiet of HOA heaven. I popped in one earbud, cranked some old-school Springsteen, and started carving perfect diagonal stripes. The vibration shook my coffee mug. Tit like therapy. This wasn't yard work. This was my middle finger to the beige mediocrity that swallowed men whole. 3 passes in and I felt it. That cold shift in the air. Like someone flipped the temperature to judgment. There she stood at the edge of my property line, arms crossed, looking like a Stepford wife who'd swallowed a rule book. Regina Whitaker, president of the Pleasant Pines HOA, platinum hair, helmet perfect, white silk robe fluttering like a cape of superiority, sipping from a mug that probably read Harmony or Else. She didn't yell. She just radiated that passive-aggressive frost that could freeze hell. I killed the engine. Like defeat. "Morning, Regina," I called, forcing a neighborly wave. Just keeping the curb appeal sharp for everyone. Her smile was sugar-coated razor wire. "Ryan, darling, it's barely past 8. Some of our residents, myself included, find the sheer volume profoundly disruptive to the peaceful morning we've all worked so hard to cultivate." Disruptive? It's a mower, Regina. It mows. A man actually doing something. She reached into her robe pocket and produced a laminated sheet. Heavy plastic, restaurant menu thick, edges sharp enough to cut glass. "This is your official notice of nuisance. Excessive decibels. At 8 o'clock. But the spirit of the law favors courtesy. Perhaps 10 o'clock? Or better yet, one of our approved silent services. Greenscape is on the vendor list, very discreet." I stared at the plastic-coated slap in the face. "You laminated a warning? Who does that? We take community standards very seriously here, Ryan." Her eyes sparkled with that special HOA power glow. "Have a lovely quiet day." She glided away like a ghost who'd already won. Inside, my wife Megan was pouring coffee, tablet in hand. "Let me guess, Regina?" I slapped the laminated sheet on the counter. She called the Thunder a B-52 bomber. Laminated the complaint like it's the Declaration of Independence. Megan sighed, the sigh of a woman who'd seen this movie before. "Ryan, it does sound like a chainsaw fighting a blender. And you patched the muffler with a bean can. That's vintage engineering." I protested. "The point is principle. It's about control." She glanced at her screen. It to the emergency HOA meeting agenda Thursday night. She's calling it Operation Silent Streets. Neighborhood chat is already blowing up. Someone called you the noise terrorist lowering property values. I felt the heat rise but swallowed it. No outburst. I'd learned long ago that these people thrived on reaction. So I smiled, nodded, and spent the next 4 days playing the perfect quiet neighbor, while secretly diving into the bylaws like a detective on a mission. Old articles praising my engine's efficiency. A spreadsheet I titled "The Ryan Equation: Loud but Fast equals Less Total Noise Footprint." Megan just rolled her eyes. "They're going to laugh you out of that living room." Thursday night arrived. Living room smelled like vanilla candles and passive aggression. She had a projector. Pleasant Pines versus the Thunder, a crisis of decibels. Slide showed 112 dB readings, audio clips that made my mower sound like a jet engine, even a zoomed-in video of Mrs. Henderson's prize roses visibly trembling at 8:04 a.m. "The floor is yours, Ryan," she purred, arms crossed like a queen on her throne. I stood, chart in hand, voice calm as still water. "I apologize for any disturbance. But the thunder finishes 2 acres in 20 minutes. A quiet electric takes an hour. My total noise exposure is actually less. Simple math. The treasurer, a sour man named Gary, smirked. Have you considered a push mower? Manual labor builds character. Regina's smile widened. Powered equipment over 70 dB? Every hand shot up. Motion passed. Emanated fine $150, and a new rule tattooed on my soul. That night I didn't rage. Served. I scrolled HOA loopholes forums at 3 a.m. Section 14 Pets and Animals. No aggressive dogs. No fowl. Absolutely nothing about ungulates. No goats. No livestock clause. A slow grin spread across my face. Megan woke to me shaking her shoulder. Babe, what does the bylaw say about goats? Her eyes widened in horror. Poop. They eat everything. They're quiet. Worse. Free fertilizer. A bag on that stuff. We'll be heroes. She buried her face in the pillow. This is how marriages end. By sunrise I was on Craigslist calling a guy named Gus Goat Whisperer. For goats later Chewy, Stomper, Butthead, and ironically named Regina. I had a reinforced white picket fence that looked HOA compliant on the outside and maximum security on the inside. The goats trotted out, chomping happily. No roar. Just nature doing what I couldn't. Beer, waving cheerfully as the real Regina walked out for her mail. Her face was a masterpiece of confusion, rage, and dawning realization. Afternoon, Regina, I called, raising the bottle. Just mowing the lawn. 424 glorious hours I thought I'd won. Day 2 the goats revealed their true nature. They didn't mow. Bald muddy patches everywhere, prize weeds untouched, and the smell. Megan pinched her nose walking outside. It smells like a petting zoo that ate bad tacos. I spent an hour shoveling while Butthead braced against the house and started peeling vinyl siding like it was gourmet ribbon candy. Bad goat, I yelled. In my head. Then the scream. Shriek from across the street. Regina stood on her porch, robe flapping, pointing at her flower beds. Stomper had finished her award-winning roses. Nothing but green stumps left. She filmed it all on her phone, voice cracking with betrayal. This is vandalism. I'll have the board. Megan looked at me dead-eyed. You have 24 hours. She packed a small bag and drove to her sister's. Sunday morning, Officer Ramirez showed up, notepad ready. He surveyed the hoof prints on my car, the patchy lawn, the half-eaten siding. Mr. Plaints of aggressive nuisances. City ordinance trumps HOA bylaws on smell, noise, and destruction. But the bylaws are silent on ungulates. City code isn't. To remedy or more tickets follow. I upgraded the fence to Mad Max levels, 10-foot rebar and chicken wire. Contained, I declared. Tuesday 2 p.m. Megan's voice. They're out. But head dug under the gate. I raced home to anarchy. Wipers off Regina's Lexus. Stomper and Goat Regina played King of the Hill on the Henderson's Italian fountain. But head? I looked up. The roof, chewing shingles like potato chips. A siren wailed. Up. Radio already crackling. Dispatch, we've got a goat on a roof. Send the ladder truck. Firefighters arrived. Tickets rained down. Public nuisance, failure to contain, reckless endangerment of first responders. I stood covered in grass clippings in defeat while Regina filmed from her porch, smug smile returning. Megan's car pulled up. The goat or me, Ryan? Megan, please. I called Gus. 30 straight seconds when I described the roof goat. Repossession cost me my last $100. The next week was expensive humility. Fines paid, new sod laid, vinyl replaced, Pathetic whisper quiet electric mower purchased. Regina waved victoriously every morning as I pushed the silent thing like a beaten man. A month later I finished my pathetic mowing, rolled up the cord and noticed something. The landscaper's never-filled buttheads escape tunnel. Fresh rabbit tracks led straight from my yard under the street to Regina's perfect fescue. A dozen fluffy invaders were already having a feast. I grabbed a beer, sat in my lawn chair and watched. Regina burst onto her porch, silk robe flying, screaming like the world was ending. She couldn't laminate rabbits. Could call an emergency meeting on fluffy rodents. The sound wasn't my thunder roaring anymore. It was Regina Whittaker losing her mind over a nuisance she couldn't control. And it was the most beautiful lawn song I'd ever heard. So there it is. And nearly my marriage, and my dignity to fight one power-tripping HOA president with goats and loopholes. Was it worth it? Maybe. Sometimes the only way to beat suburban tyranny is to let nature and a few well-placed tunnels do the dirty work. If you're trapped in your own HOA hell right now, remember, stay patient, read the fine print, and never underestimate what a little chaos can accomplish. The Karens always crack eventually.